Hello everyone. I would like to thank all of you at British Council to accept my suggestion to invite Narumol from Chiang Mai to give a presentation and sharing about theater. During the time, I just met Hop around 2 months ago. Because it's an exchange project. Program initiated by Mekong Culture Hub. They support and try to build the network between the culture practitioners in around Southeast Asia come together. Then they give me a support to come to Chiang Mai for an exchange trip for around 10 days, 12 days in Chiang Mai and Bangkok. And at that time, Cobb is the host, and I really appreciate the time she spent on me. She's not only helped me to and connect me and bring me to visit different art space, but also give me a lot of discussion about how to get me an understanding about the art screen. Who is the acclaimed artist? What is the future activities? Or what is the trend and the situation of the art in Chiang Mai. Then, and because as you know, or you might read a little bit a short biography of Cobb on the program that BC provide for all of you. That she is a director and also performer working on dance and theater. But Cobb used to be the curator and working a lot with visual and contemporary arts in Chiang Mai in very early time, around 2000, I think. And something like this. Then she's get involved in organizing different small scale and big scale art event program festival. I remember the performance arts festival on the streets of Chiang Mai in around 2004. Yeah. 2004. And Cobb also collaborated with several Vietnamese artists like Trần Lương or Lê Vũ Long on dance. So I think it's not really about theater today, and I think we could talking a lot in different kind of discipline. And about also about the experiment and story and case study and sharing with Cobb and to help her to understand about Vietnam and how we can share our knowledge and experiment together. And as I think after today, then you will know Cobb, and when you have chance to visit Chiang Mai, she could host you like me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you for introducing me. And I'm very delighted to be here. So I'm going to talk about intercultural theater collaboration in Southeast Asia. So the case study is very easy and near to me because it's about my own work. So I don't have to go to do research in many places. So the objective of this sharing is about to show you like what extent the development of intercultural collaborative theater serve as instrument of creating mutual understanding amongst countries in Southeast Asia. So by using my own as an example. And first I would like to discuss about the definition of what is intercultural collaboration, theater collaboration, and then we will go to the history, and then show you some case study of my work, and then we will come to analyze how it go and how would we want it to be in the future. So, what is culture? What is culture? Actually, I want to ask you, but I don't have time, sorry. So let's conclude. The earliest person who come up with the idea of what is culture is Matthew Arnold. So he said like all the cultural objects has aesthetic value. And those values is collectively, sociologically constructed by the society. So he gave like two different kind of culture, like high culture at the time, like opera or ballets or those kind of high culture. And low culture means popular cultures, people's cultures. So I just use the image of rock, two different kind of rock. Actually, it's the same rock. It's just like carbon, right? But we give value into it. And then come after Edward B. Taylor. So he's got idea from Charles Darwin. So he come up with the idea of social evolution. So he said, yeah, culture is the same with that time not genetic, but evolution of a human being. So started from the very primitive life, savage life, and then developed into a small group, started to be more like a bigger group, like barbarians, and also become civilized. So that's defined by the savage group is still bound to like gods and something that unknown in nature. So they have lots of ritual and ceremony. And the barbarian stage is like it's become trying to understand things, come up with something. They have build up the city, build up the big communities. They started to have like political understanding of the world and the group formation. And then civilized means becomes after the Renaissance period. So like they started to think about a scientific reason. So that kind of three state of Edward B. Taylor's suggestion. And then after that, Franz Boas. So he come up with the ideas of cultural diversity. So he's a founder of the relativistic culture center school. So he brought attention to the problem of ethnocentrism because he said like what appeared to be a pattern or structure in culture were not a product of conscious design, but rather outcome of diverse mechanisms that produce cultural variation, such as diffusion and independence invention shaped by social environment which people live and act. So we are not born with certain culture, we are not, but we become and we build up, we construct those kind. And you cannot give value, this is high, this is low. So I summarize these three definitions of culture into one picture. So you will see, like Matthew Arnold, like, so the culture is like very static. Like, this is you, you are this. This is your culture, and you are born different. And then the three stages, but Taylor said, although you're born that way, but you can develop, you can evolve. But Boas says, no, nothing such culture. It's just the way you create it. So this image is like the rocks are the rocks, but when you throw into the water, so only the remain is just the pattern of the interference. And then when two cultures interfere to each other, so it creates another pattern. So this is cultural diversity. So you can stimulate, you can influence, you can mingle and take and give to each other. So let's see in the cultural collaboration what it looked like. But before, we need to understand the word intercultural or cross-cultural or multicultural. What are they? So this term, I think it's dynamic. So it's kind of like flow and very fluid. But I think they need to define some terms. So we have to understand the same ground. Otherwise, we will speak different language. So multicultural is like many cultures in the same place, in the same area, in the same society, or many ethnic groups living or working or doing something, but they still keep their own culture and doesn't have to engage or interaction with each other. Like the Thai communities, Lao communities, Vietnam communities, we still like keep our own culture, but at the same time we can notice the existence of the others, but you don't really cross or share. So cross-cultural is more like comparison. So you started to see the other, oh, they are different, why they are different. And we started to share some different, but still remain our own. For example, like they also have the majority groups. Like in Thailand, the majority is Thai ethnic group. And then there are Muslim and the other like Chinese and this and that. But we share, for example, Chinese people married with Thai people, so we receive some of their ceremonies, so we celebrate Chinese New Year, this and that. So of course, they still remain, but so majority still consider themselves as a major population. And then the majority considered is the norm of the society or dominant culture. And the word intercultural are more fluid because it's like require deep understanding and respect for other cultures, and also focus on mutual exchange of idea and cultural norm and development of deep relationship. And in this definition, they said, no one is left unchanged because everyone learns from one another and grow together. And change will have small change, considered change already. Like you share your idea about that person once you learn about their life, their why they should do such thing. So when we put into a theater, intercultural theater collaboration, so it's like theater or production that bring artists from different parts of the world together to create original work, like new work. And then inter is like in between, you know, it's not like, oh, this is majority culture's work, and then I just add in. No, it's like something in between that we create something together, like hybrid, derived from materials or symbolic exchange of cultural resources in the level of narrative or aesthetic, or exchange in process of production and reception. And it might include like stories and myth, language, object, aesthetic technique, method, attitude, or anything that can be said to be in the within of domain of culture. Then let's look at those are definitions, but let's see in the real world, these like connected to those definitions or not. Okay, first generation who started to work interculturally. But at that time, the world are still under the colonialism, and people couldn't travel much, except they belong to some group who has to go to the colonized country. So the people who remain in their own countries, so they would expose themselves into the other culture through the exposition, like World Expo. For example, this one, the World Exposition in France. Okay, not yet, we don't go that yet. Okay, so it started by, at the time they call like movement of avant-garde theater. Avant-garde is like new idea, to present something new. So to have foreign or alien culture come into your normal work, so that's considered like new idea. So we will look at the first person, like Antonin Artaud. So he exposed, he saw the Balinese trance ritual dance in the Paris International Colonial Exposition in 1931. So he was very moved by that performance. He said, wow, this is such spectacle. And even no words. I understood it correct, totally. But actually there are words, there are some songs, but because he couldn't understand, so he interpreted in his own way, and he come up with a book called The Theater and Its Double. Theater, and it's double. Double is like, theater imitate life, right? So the double of theater is life. So he said, how to make theater much more spectacle and more real than the boring life. So he started the concept called theater of cruelty by using the moment of revelation that he saw that performance to put on the spectacle in his performance. Like all violence, anything like reveal human natures, to shock the audience, like just throwing in their face. But not many of his idea or many of his script become a play because he was put in the, how you call it, mental hospital for a long time. And next person is Bertolt Brecht. I think many of us are familiar with him because Antonin's work really influenced the next generation. So Brecht also got influence from his book about the spectacle, and so he come up with alienation effect and epic theater. So alienate, what's the most alienate elements? It's not your own culture, it must be something far away from you and something that we are not familiar with. That's why he, for example, he used the Chinese opera into his work. So to make the audience alienate with the play. So the idea is like, you cannot be a passive audience that you just watch the show and then you move, you cry, and you go back home, and then that's it. But he wants you to just like, no, it's difficult to watch this. Oh, I have a lot of questions. Oh, you cannot sleep that night because you become active audience. You start to question the world, the society, and everything. So alienation help people to think, oh, this is a play. This is not real life. You don't have to move along that kind of emotion that they give to you. So yeah, so this is an example of his work. So I would call it like borrowed images. I don't think that he I don't know how much he knows about the Chinese opera, or has he learned or anything, but he kind of bring the image to portray. And Edward Gordon Craig also gets so much influence from exhibitions about the puppet in Asia, like Burmese marionette or no theater or buraku especially. So his work are more like stage design, so he come up with the idea of design for the play and using the no elements or buraku elements and use a lot of symbolic. The second generation, people start to move around, people start to travel the world. So the ideas of theater and anthropologies just come into play. So like they have to be in that place, they have to learn about that culture so they can come up with their representation correctly. For example, Ariane Manikim, I don't know if I call her right, sorry. So they call her nomad of imagination. Because when she has her production, she brought a lot of images of many different countries, like Japan, Bali, India, Cambodia, and she really traveled to those places. In one of her shows, she has like 21 nationalities represent in her plays, and also 150 9 characters in 6 hours. So she really fond of Asian cultures. So she combined Western texts with theoretical image that borrow from Bunraku, Kabuki, Kathakali, and Sanskrit theoretical traditions. And this one very famous, I think everyone knows Peter Brook, so we don't have to talk much about him. So the most famous work is Mahabharata in 1985 and performed by international cast. So not just only like white people or European people perform those characters, but this one performed by people from such country, and then to portray certain value. For example, this is the comments of Peter Brook's work. This is exploration of the article universal, which supposedly exists in any culture. So they claim that what he discovered, like share among participants, the actors, are universal. And people all the world has the same, like love and greed and anger, we share the same. And to present a universal or even universalist visions of human being. And more comments said directors plundered theme and style with no consideration for a true cultural identities for all the culture in opposite. So like, oh, of course you found like the universality, but at the same time you ignore the real culture, you know, like you exploit them. So they say like it's another form of cultural imperialist exploitation of other culture. And Robert Wilson, also very famous in his intercultural work. This one, Ilagaligo, in 2005. Actually, he did several productions with the Balinese dancers. Beautiful work. And he likes the way of using like opera style of performance. Very grand. And also comments said, freely borrowing imagery from culture around the world. And ethnocentric or character. It is Midwest intercultural projects can be viewed as neo-imperialism. Barusha is very critical, is it? Western vision, Western obsession, or encounter between the West and the rest. So those are the concept of intercultural modernism. So in conclusion, so like Tyler's notion of evolutionary cultural process rooted in Enlightenment philosophy. So that's when we started modernism stage. And explicitly and implicitly characterize culture they study as primitive and unsophisticated. I don't know if you see the first and the second generation, I don't know, you might feel something like unbalance between the Western dominating culture and Eastern primitive or sort of, I don't know, they appreciate, but they wouldn't use the word unsophisticated. Okay, and Western modernity as measurements of sophistication or enlightenment, and project simplicity onto the others. So the keywords of this modernism in the cultural stage is avant-garde, imperialism, authoritarianism, globalization. So that's how this word come in the world. And then the third generation, they started to have some kind of postmodernism concept. So like Franz Boas mentioned about avoiding the word ethnocentrism, analyze culture synchronically, interpret micro-example rather than macro-evolution, and resist the temptation to compare across culture. So the keyword of this period is populism, resistance, Resistant means like you don't conform, like you ask questions, Asian artists become more voice. And egalitarianism, everyone are more equal, and locality based on the domestic place. For example, third generation like Richard Schickner, because he is also a teacher at New York University. So he started the performance study at NYU. So he said it's not only intercultural but also intergenetic and interdisciplinary when you do collaboration work. And it's not only artistic or theoretical, but something that everywhere in society, in political scheme, and also in the material world, in every single part of our self, our body. And so drama become part of everyday life as a cross-cultural phenomenon because we exposed to people in different culture every day. So this is his theory. And second person is Jimio Baba. So he also started the International School of Theater Anthropology. Of course, similar idea to Schickner. So he said like seeking the universal principle that shaped not only the theater but also human action in a performance situation. And he believed himself to be uncovering a Eurasian theater that underlined and connected theater of the East and West. So some comments. They say like the third generation claim to be egalitarian and ethical, and to hit post-colonial criticism that see past intercultural work as ethnocentric and corrupt. Okay, now I want to talk about the model of theater collaboration. So some of the work that you have seen before and some after. You may see these two models. The first one I call salad model. So every culture still remain their own culture. Their performance still, their dance, their costume, their mask, whatsoever, still remain their own. You see like salad, right? So vegetables still remain vegetable. So vegetable, corn, and everything still remain their own quality. And when you see, as an audience, you see on stage, oh, I know that category. Oh, I know that's no. I know that's this and that. And many performances are like that too. And another format is, I don't know how we can call it. But I use the image of the cupcake or cake that you don't know where it come from. It come from eggs. It come from flour. What kind of flour you don't know. It's come from sugar. What kind of sugar you don't know. But it becomes something else that totally new and open for more imagination. So I would say like the salad idea is like a multicultural, work on stage that you can see. That's himself, and maybe cross a little bit. But this cake concept are more like mingle or more blend, or come up with something else that you don't know, or share the quality of universality. Okay, so just to show you again this image. And now let's see some example in Southeast Asia. In 1997 to 2006. I think this one, many people might know Ong Ken Sen's work, and he's very famous. And he loves bringing people over. I couldn't remember, like Flying Circus. His experimental projects. And he came up with many performances like Lear, King Lear, Lear's daughter, Lear Dreaming, and all very similar, like put all the master, wonderful dancer, performer onto the stage. Like the flamenco dancer dance with the Balinese mask dancer. And Balinese wear Balinese mask and wear sort of Balinese costume in a new design. And the flamenco dancer also danced her flamenco dance beautifully. And she performed the wife of Macbeth, father, and the Balinese mask dancer, he's Macbeth's father. So that kind of image. And this one, Lear, the main character is Thai dancer, beautiful dancer. It's amazing. And he used the image of Chinese opera and kabuki and all sorts into this with the new costume. Most of the actors are contemporary theater, so they don't use much of dance, but they do move. They do use lots of movement. Director is Japan, and writer, I think she's from Philippines, but I think they changed into Malaysian playwright. And this project, Noda Hideki, very, very famous theater director in Tokyo. This project started by the Japan Foundation to collect theater people from Thailand, only Thailand. At first they want like 3 actors, and then they have like a performance audition, like a workshop audition. And then everyone worked together very well, so he decided to have 13 instead of 3. So the same script, he wrote the script. And we did this production in 98, 99, and 2004. I was involved in this production. And every time when we meet to make the same play, but he always have new thing to add in, even to perform by himself as the Red Giant at the last production. And he also did the same production in Korea and in London too, with the Young Vic Theatre. This one also I involved. Hotel Grand Asia is 3 years project by Sedakaya Public Theatre. 16 director and writer, performer. Crazy. Think about 16 director and 3 years working on and off. So we come up with, I think, more than 20 productions, experimental in different way of working. And finally we come up with a big production called Hotel Grand Asia. Thank God. And then after that project, 6 of us come back together to work on the mobile, smaller. That's one 6 country. This one only 4. Singapore, Japan, Philippines, Thailand. So less headache and more organized, because we learn from that experience. We become smarter. I'll talk about this later. But this one talk about mobilization among these 4 countries. Like the Philippines become a hotel owner in Singapore. Thai lady become a snack lady, we call like a prostitute in Japan. And Japanese businessmen come to Philippines and fall in love with the Filipino lady, something like that. Okay, so very interesting. Let's say large amounts of funding come from like global north, like America, Europe, or Japan. We don't have much funding from Southeast Asian countries. And it's unequal economic balance, cultural dependency on the foreign value. And collaboration also do not represent local communities. But they're trying to find something about Asian value. So I divided into two modes of collaboration. First one, the imperialistic, like the one we see before. It's focused on products and perceive others' cultural tradition as authentic or uncontaminated by the Western modernity. And aesthetic respond to cultural diversity, highly spectacular performance, and also market or state driven. So they must sell lots of tickets, huge production, and sometimes they make a tour, world tour. So the collaborative mode is focused on process. You can see some of the project like long term, like 3 years, 2 years. And cultural negotiation at all levels, from personal to institution. I hope we could do that. And community generated. And let's focus on cultural purity. And let's focus on exotic display. Okay. Here's my work. From, okay, let's say 1999 to 2020. This only my work internationally with different group of people. So you can see above and under. This one are more like one production at a time, like working maybe 3 months. Oh no, like 3 weeks to 1 month. With some director, and then we also workshop and then come up with a production. But the one with the color, so it's more like process based. Some are like 5 years process, some are 3 years, some are 2 years, depends on the project. And the same group of people working together, learning, sharing, almost killing each other. And the yellow is my years gap because I went to PhD program in peace building. And these are some of the works. I will talk later. That about 10 productions that I select to show you. First one is my own company that doesn't exist anymore because everyone are in Bangkok now. Only me in Chiang Mai. So we start with an American artist, Indonesian mask maker, and Taiwanese dancer, who just happened to come to the festival in Thailand, which I helped organize. We call Berlin, Bali, Bangkok. And then get together for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they show their work, I show my work, and then at the end we said, oh, we don't like this kind of festival, that you just come for a short time and then you leave, we say goodbye. Why don't we work in the long term? So we said, okay, come back next time, and then I organize housings for them, food for them, but they have to fly by themselves, I don't have money. And stay for 1 month, come up with many production. So in the 5 years, so we create many productions. And when we have money, we go to America to show our work. And this one, Agawani, like I said, 2 or 3 times during 1999 to 2004. But this one more like top-down model because Noda Hideki, he's very famous. He has theater company. He already has script. We just act. But the good thing is he listens because he see what we give to him, and then he come up with the idea and then put into the play. So more like the movement and everything is, even costume come from our input because he is very well listening. And this is my project in 2003 and 2004 called Make Home Project. I got funding from the Rockefeller Foundation to do international residency program among the Make Home artists. 16, I brought 2 from each countries to Thailand on the first year. And we have 3 weeks. First week, more like showing your work to each other. You bring your own like personal solos and really show to the audience, public audience. And the second week, we travel together, we give workshop and try to learn from each other. And then third week, once they learn about each other, they would say, I want to work with this person. Oh, this person nice idea. So they come up together and make a performance on the last week and show to the audience, public audience. First one we did it in Thailand and Laos, and the second one in 2004 we did it in Cambodia. So we traveled from Siem Reap to the Mekong River to Battambang, work there, and then present work in Phnom Penh. And this one, Lohan Journey, I talk about 16 director and writer and so 3 years. So we come up with many formats, like okay, we must be equal. So we have to contribute work equally, you know, this and this. But some groups say, oh, I get tired of that. Let's pick one who can tell us what to do. I don't want to think anymore. Or some groups say, no, we must have the structure of working together. So it's kind of great project, chaos. Even the last week, our script do not finish. And the last 2 days before performance, we have to ask the producer to kick someone out of our project. Otherwise, we cannot finish our script. So this one, my work in Taiwan. My expertise is in personal storytelling, writing. So I get story from people and turn into a play. So in 2005, I worked with, I gave workshop in many places and blend their story into one script and work with 3 actors. And also 2007, another production called Sound of the Ocean. This one talk about history of Taiwan. We look at history in different eyes and their relationship between Taiwan and China, and different stage in their history. The historical book written with different group. So we look into those different versions of history book. And yeah, we do a lot of field trips. And recently, last year, I make a mask workshop. Also similar approach. I combine mask workshop with storytelling. So they come up with story and then perform. So I should bring some of my masks there, if you would like to see. And this one, mobile, I talk about this, right? So similar with Hotel Grand Asia, we meet several times in different countries, but this one we put on more research because we're interested in prostitution and sex trafficking and such. So we went to interview people like prostitutes who come back from Japan, who killed their mama-san, were put in jail for 10 years, you know, that kind of interesting. They tell like very juicy story with very brave. And we asked them, if you have a chance to go back again, will you go? They said, of course! Because it's their life. They don't see themselves as a victim. They see themselves as a brave woman who challenged the world. And they've gone through it. You know? So we try to portray those kind of image in our play. And this one, I work with the poet in Japan and Buto dancer. And this one, with the Japanese director, I play a dog. But this dog has to speak Japanese language, 15 pages. And this is the mask work with 3 countries, Thailand, Japan, and Indonesia. So we're trying to look for what is the practice of Asian mask and how do we use it in modern life. So we call this project Reconstruction and Reconfiguration. And we come up with a project, the performance called Ocean Blue Heart, combine things that we found from our research. And this one, I work with Japanese theater group called Retirement, like talk about the Japanese old people who come to Asian country to have pleasure enjoy their life after retire. They meet many girls, go to many bars, they play golf. So, but in this play, we trying to come up with some question. Maybe this is some kind of new neo-colonialism. You know, those old men must have some kind of agenda. They're coming to our country. Maybe they want to occupy our country again with some sort of, Okay, and in conclusion, I think there are three models of working. One vs all, like one director or playwright with the rest. This is very common, right? It's easy to manage. And some and all. Some like maybe a group of 2 or 3 directors, including playwrights, and then the rest. And another model is all for one, chaos. but yeah, we made it. Okay, for example, like my theater company, when we make production, only one director, please, no more. And autobiographical writing also, when I work with my friends, so we have to be actor only. And this one, The Red Demon with Noda Hiriki. This one with Taiwan. This one I work with the Lao National Puppet Troupe also, helping them to create a new story about HIV/AIDS. This one with Japanese director. This one, the Ringo Kun Theater Group. Okay, this one, some and all. For example, like the Mekong project, they also find their way to work dynamically among their group. But because of the group is small, like 2, 3, 4 artists, so it's easy to communicate. But if you have bigger group, it's too challenging. Like this one. Yeah. But in the Hotel Grand Asia, the 16 director, so in one format, we call superstructure. Like a group of 5 people come together and think about tomorrow. Like today, we do lots of workshops, we give and take, meeting, chair. And then at night, they will come and talk. What about tomorrow? What we will take today and what we will do tomorrow. But that's help. Otherwise, it will be chaos and no conclusion. And this one also, with the mass project, we have 2 director and playwright, and both of them also playwrights, so they work sharing between each other. And in some format, like this one, the 16 director, we somehow like one person write, and then the next day we experiment, and then the next day we give to another director, and he work on this, come to work in the daytime, and another person take the script and work. We also do that sometimes. Okay, and all for one, yeah, Lohan journey. And this one mobile, because we learned from the Lohan journey. So we started to have, 2 directors working together. And then we have a group of playwrights, so I also joined this group, and everyone act. So every day after work, we have to come up with something, long meeting after work. And this one, Mekong project. Okay, this is a working relationship when you work collaboratively. Testing the water. So when you go to the lake, right? Oh, nice, and you want to test, very cold. And then you start to walk a little bit, very fresh, You enjoy the water, right? And then you start to go deeper and dip yourself in, and that you know how cold it is and how deep it is. And then you started to swim and dive. I still enjoy meeting new people, talking, mingle. And then once you're getting depth, oh no, he's not like what I think. No, this is not what I want. And then you get them on almost drawn, and then you have to come up for a breath to breathe again, and then you start swimming again and go dive. So that's just the model of working together. I think in any relationship, including your married life, you need time and space and air for yourself sometimes. Okay, the theme from this production that we came up, like immigration, mobility, identity, prostitution, poverty, terrorism, memory of wars and remembrance, apology, forgiveness, women, gender issue, artistic exchange, whatsoever. And this is some issue that come up. Which language you are going to use? Some Chinese, and I remember the Chinese Malaysian came to me and he said, "Gop, do you know who is the most Chinese in our group?" I have a Chinese ancestor, but I couldn't speak any Chinese. And Filipino who can speak a lot of Chinese, but not as good as the Malaysian, you know. And they claim, also the Singaporean, of course, they speak good Chinese. And they said, why don't we use Chinese in our production? We are the majority in Asia. That's very true, but I couldn't speak any, sorry. Or using English language. How about people who cannot, right? How about people who need a translation? And Ivan Heng, the director from Singapore, so he said, why don't we claim our English accents? Like, because Singapore has Singlish, right? Maybe Thai have Tinglish, you know, or Thaiglish. Because some people, like the Indonesian people, said they feel they don't want to speak, they're shy. And he said, don't shy, don't feel shame. We should claim our broken English as our English, because we use for communication, nothing to be ashamed of, right? And I think it's work. It doesn't help, but it's work psychologically. Okay, so this is the issue, right? Because in using language, there is hierarchy. So people who cannot speak, they feel like they are peripheral. They need a translator, or they could not catch the all exchange. Middle level, okay, fine. I think I am here, but I think only 70% I understand, because some people speak very fast and not too clear to my ears. But people like American people, Singaporean, Filipino, they are high level. And even because, like for example, Singapore people, they would say, they have Singlish, of course, but when someone look down on them, they would up their English into like educated, official English, British accent. It's good that they have choice, but we don't. But how about Japan? Every project, they have a translator. So they don't have to speak English. And usually the translators are so good. They can speak simultaneously, right on time, and correctly. But the rest, like Indonesian, just like, what are they talking about? Okay, so how to overcome the language issues? Like in the Mekong project, I was part of the facilitator. I said, speak slow. Speak slow. People who speak well, please speak slow, because we cannot afford for interpreter. And please use simple vocabulary. No fancy word, please. And we try to recap after session. Like we have people who can speak good English, summarize what we are talking or doing in the workshop. And we make sure everyone is heard. Like if people don't understand, please come up to us anytime. In our in the Lohan journey, the 16 director, Haresh Sharma, the director, writer from Singapore, he offered himself as a psychological assistant. If anyone has problem, please come to him. He will help any problem. I think we need that in collaboration work too. Okay, and then funding issues. Because funding very important, is give a lot of power to the funder, especially the country who organize. Mostly Japan and the others. And they always play the role producer, director, or writer. And the rest, participating country like Southeast Asian, we just actor, co-director, and co-writer. How about other source of funding that give you enough freedom to do your own work? Like the Japan Foundation always asks you to include Japanese artists, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So can we not include? sorry. How can we be equality? We get equal pay, equal work. No? Because we work. I remember one project when the producer come to the Southeast Asian artists and they said, how can I do this with money? Because the Japanese living expense are so expensive. If they leave home for like 3 weeks, that costs a lot of money. They lose a lot of money. Can they give like special per diem, special artist fee? And my friend, Tua from Thailand, he got so angry. He said, no, equal work, equal pay. Oh no, that amount of money can buy our house in Thailand. But anyway, well, I think it's a job of producer to think. But I told the producer, maybe he could come up with some kind of living expense according to each country that you subsidize for their leave, maybe more help. Or who will be in charge of writing proposal. And I think many Southeast Asian artists, they don't like to be the most headache. And the size of the collaboration work, amount of money, and what kind of fundraise that we can do. For example, like Art Network Asia, I don't think they exist anymore. Or now, I think they are more like between British and Asia, right? Not among Asian countries. I couldn't remember. Before they give us small amount of money, like 10,000. It's come from Ford Foundation at that time, and give freedom to the artists to work. I think that's very helpful. To overcome funding issues, I don't know. Maybe we can discuss. Okay, and issue of organization, like we see it, no? Is kind of top down, right? From a group of directors, superstructure, head. Facilitator play the role of bringing together. I don't know, maybe facilitator are more, make people feel more comfortable, not just a top-down process. And yeah, about organization, also how can we have it more like gender balance and overcome the personality issues, because some people are very controlled in nature, how to democratize the process. And yeah, English. What time now? Do I have time?
Yeah.
Huh? Until what time? Until
1.
Ah, okay. Okay, now we come to the content. So this one from the Make Home project, the issues of memory. These two work different years, but very similar. This one, the dancer from Wong Pomala, he's a Lao dancer. He fled to America when he was 7 years old. And he told the story when he came to the Narumol project. He told the story to the two ladies from Laos, beautiful dancer. The story of his father swam across the Mekong River, putting everything around his neck and then swam. And they were moved, and they come up with this performance called Across the River. It's beautiful, and they sing and they dance for Wong, and they all cry. And this one, Anita, she's Cambodian American artist. When she returned to Cambodia in 2004 for this project, she was granted citizenship. She was very surprised. It was her first time to come back. So, and she was so happy. Before, she was like very powerful, aggressive poet. Every word of her like very like strong and like punching into your face. But in that piece, after she came back and meeting with Indonesian and Cambodian people, especially the young people, she came up with Children of Cambodia piece, and beautiful, and she used a dancer and talk about future and the young people and hope. Very soft, and we were surprised. New Anita. And this also memory issues. This one, Mora Nguyen Tuấn Hieu, she is a Vietnamese American dancer. And she also talked about the story around the Vietnam War. And this one, the puppeteer from Thailand. So when we travel into Cambodia, we went to visit the Tuslang, the killing fields and the jail that capture people. So she come up with this performance to empathize toward the Cambodian people. Like she shared their feeling. But the Cambodian artists feel like, oh, this is too strong. Even too strong image for them. And oh, cry. So it's, I think like it's powerful art. Art is powerful, not just only to show to the audience itself, but among the artists who created, like we share. And gender issues. Most, I think most of the production are male director. This is Jose. Jose, she's one of the best female director in the Philippines. She teaches at the University of Philippines. And in the production, she's just quiet. She just never say like, I want to direct this piece, no, but all the male say, I want to do this piece, I want to do this piece, but all the girls just like, okay, you do it. Not because we are incapable, we could, but we did not want to fight over it. And our number of men and gay men. For example, this Lohan journey, 16 people, 3 women, 6 gay men, and 7 men. It's our number. If we have like 5-5-5, perhaps maybe more equal, or maybe more in details. It's just like roughly. And because of that, the image of women become quite stereotyped. But in some production of the Lohan journey, like in my production with Tasso, Japanese director, so we have like gender role reversal. So you cannot tell like man and woman who are better than the other, but they are struggle in power relationship and no representation of the stereotype. And another issue is the otherness. In one workshop in the Lohan journey, so we use shoes to put in, to make a map of our Asian country, our country. And then Namron, the Malaysian director, so he saw Tasso shoe and he grabbed and he threw Japan over there. I mean, we just, it's just fun, but it just symbolized something. that how the Southeast Asian people think about Japan. But because we include Japanese because the Japan Foundation support. And that production producer from Senagaya Public Theater, of course. And they come to Southeast Asia to work with us, and we are happy, of course. Okay, let's look at collaborative mode. For example, like focus on process, like I said. This one we research in many places, the mobile. We went to the school that try to prevent children to become prostitutes in the north of Thailand. We talked to International Migration Office, IOM, about the situation of migration in Southeast Asia, and talk about people who work in the field and interview the real person. This is another project. I bring musicians from Thailand and Cambodia and Indonesia traveling around, but are more like academic musicians. They're all music scholars. So it's more like people-to-people collaboration. It's grounded on locality with the local facility, no fancy hotel. Many times you do collaboration about poverty, you stay in a fancy hotel. No, you must stay with them. So we travel by land more, trying to reduce carbon footprint. But of course, we still have to fly. And make it long period of time so you can really learn about each other. And with very small funding, that's why we need to save a lot of money. And small group of participants. And even no production necessary. We focus on process. And this also people-to-people collaboration, we call it collaboration from below, from ground up, with mutual respect, then democratization, everyone are equal, in depth, and hopefully sustainable, and thinking about the future. This is a project I worked with mask when I went to teach in Taiwan, but I bring the mask that my students make. So I taught them how to make masks in advance and bring their masks to use over there. So make them understand and see where it comes from, not just like the mask from the market or whatsoever. So they give value into it. And also many projects that now I started to work with some Taiwan school with my students, Aikido students. So we have lots of art activities with them from 7 years old to 17. Try to bridge them. And this one, social integration. This one example of the Pentas project after the mobile and Lohan journey. So the 3 Malaysian people, although they were selected to be part of the Lohan journey, but the thing is, usually they never talk with each other. Gokman, he is Chinese, right? And Namron, he is Malaysian, Malay. And Jo Kukatas, she is Indian. So they do their own theater. Indian, English-speaking theater, Chinese theater, they never talk. But after the project, they work together called Pentas Project, in the bringing their show in the same place, and also even working in one production. And this also, we can restate misunderstanding, misperception, and ignorance that we have toward each other. And also collaborative intercultural theater can emancipate individuals from habitual perception, cultural acclimatization, and stereotype that we always have toward each other. And it can expose its participant and audience to different way of seeing that encourage in the cultural appreciation and knowledge. For example, this one I brought the mask project to Thailand. So they learn how to do traditional Thai movement. So to appreciate the other culture. But we don't really use in our play. And this one I brought, like the big shadow puppet in Cambodia. They call Nang Sabek. So this one from Suvarnabhumi Theater. Association. They want to learn about Indonesian puppets. So I make a small project bringing them to visit many masters and stay in those houses and working. And then after the project, we bring Indonesian, Balinese and Javanese shadow puppeteer come to Cambodia. So, that's my last slide. Finish. Okay, so picture of the back home project artist. Thank you very much.